Hey guys, I did a little video yesterday, but never got a chance to make the video. I'm just kind of do a little compilation there on another video later on, just multiple service calls. But anyways, a little overview of what I had going on yesterday. So I came in early in the morning. I came in, Freightliner was sitting here. I took it for a test drive. Everything worked really good on it. Sounded really good, which I need to go shut it off right now. I've been working my tail off as usual. My shop at home, it's been neglected because I get so busy that I just can't, you know, as you can tell, I can't keep things cleaned up. And finally I said, man, we got to get this straightened out. So I got a waste oil heater at home, so I've been running it at night, and I had plumbing freezing the walls there because I didn't have the heater running, and ended up cutting the sheetrock out of the wall and fixing the frozen broken pipes. And so then I got the waste oil heater going, started shoveling oil to it. And then while I was there, I said, man, I got to get this place cleaned up. And I've been organizing and cleaning parts out, working in there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Sounds good. No ABS, that's the only thing flashing on the screen, so if the engine brake works. Confident he could probably come get his truck. He's not really in a big push for it or anything. I was gonna wash a valve cover off there, but my frickin' water hose in here was froze up too. But it's kind of warmed up. It's actually in the 30s now, so it's pretty bad when you get in the 20s and 30s and you're thinking, oh my god, I swore it's really warmed up. When it stays around, I don't care, man. You get down to anywhere when it stays from 10 degrees on the positive side to 0 to negative numbers, I don't give a shit. It's just cold wherever. Doesn't matter where you're at. I don't mind 20, 30 degrees, not too bad, but you get down to 0 and negative numbers and it stays there, it's like, shit, man. You can work outside, but I mean, you don't get a lot accomplished. You know, all you're doing is you work for a while, and then you go warm your hands up, and then you go work for a while, and then you spend more time warming your hands up than you do working. So it seems to be kind of counterproductive. But anyway, so anyways, what I was saying, I went and I worked on this for a couple hours, and then I took off, and I had a a cat excavator. I don't even remember what the number is, a 3 something. I went out there, and the hoses that went to the block, the quick release for the to take your bucket off, the hoses had blown on that, so I took them off. And I went down, they had a feeder broke down too in the same place, and it had a double chain. It ran 2 sprockets, 60 chain, double chain. So I went and clear over to State Line Napa, had 2 hoses made, got the double chain, came back, fixed the feeder. I made a chain for it because you can only buy that chain in a 50-foot roll. So I bought a 50-foot roll of that chain and made a chain for him, got the feeder fixed. Then I took off up to the hill and went up and fixed the excavator, got it done. Then I went down the hill, and on my way out, they said the backhoe, they had a 210C John Deere backhoe that they said was overheating. Well, I popped the hood on it, the side panel off, and the hinge bolt on the alternator had broke, and the alternator was just hanging there on the wires, and the fan bolt had popped clear off of it. So I fixed that while I was there, so I didn't make it back to the shop till it was time to go home. So anyway, I'm back, and now we can finish this. I'm gonna lift the DPF on this, tidy some things up, put the stack on, and we'll probably run her for a while with the hood off, make sure we got no leaks, all that kind of good shit. And then drag the 4020 in here, clean up this freaking mess, and drag the 4020 in here. And as you can tell, like I was saying, I was cleaning out my shop in town. I got a pretty good parts room back here, but these are all 6-liter parts here. So got a lot of good 6-liter parts. I basically took 2 engines and made one. I had a good block on one and a bad block on the other. So I had an 0360 that I made into an 06. So anyways, well, let's get after it. I know I'm just bullshitting a lot. You know, Mr. Robert David didn't want me to give him a shout out, but I'm going to anyway, because I think he's in, and I want to give not only him, but all the other people over the years that have helped me out tremendously, supported me on this channel. Robert sent I'm not even going to say how much, but it was a pretty substantial Merry Christmas gift, basically, to the channel. You know, there's something that bolted down here. What was it? Oh yeah, what am I doing? You know, the mount has to go on there, the hinge point for the hood, right? Yeah. So what the hell am I thinking? That would not be the good thing to do, is put those bolts in yet, because this plate has to go on the top here. I forgot all about that. I think it's still attached to the hood. But we can get these other bolts in, and I'm gonna replace some of these. Anyways, what I was saying, I get off track. What I was saying was, he sent a healthy donation, kind of a Christmas gift. And then, you know, Dennis up there in British Columbia is always, he's the guy that come down and help me put the PACCAR engine in. He's always sending me stuff. Sent me some Milwaukee bars the other day, some pry bars, really nice bars. I didn't even really want to use them. They're so nice. I put them in the big green toolbox at home. And then Joe Bachman up there in British Columbia sent me a calendar the other day. He was a good guy. He's come clear all the way down here and visited me before. So there's a lot of other people too. A lot of good people out there still, you know. It gives me hope that there's maybe some kind of salvation for humanity. There's still some really good people out there. Anyways, thank you very much for supporting the channel and helping me out. I appreciate it. I really do. Okay, I gotta, you know, some of these Allens and stuff were rounding out on me. I didn't get new bolts. I decided that I didn't really see a point in putting Allen heads in these. There was nothing interfering that you needed an Allen head bolt. I'm just gonna put regular bolts in these, regular hex-headed bolts is what I'm gonna do. That's your light assembly there. You know, I had figured out, for some reason, the shift indicator lights I was telling you were on. And I figured out if I had the light switch, yep. If I go down on, what is that, low beam or high beam? Trying to key on maybe. So what the hell is that? So there's something wrong with this switch, because see the light in the high beam indicator comes on just for a second. There's something wrong with this switch. But if you go up, well, you gotta turn the key off. They should shut off, but if you key off You push that down, them lights are coming on. That ain't right. There's no way that should do that. Shouldn't matter whether that's on high beam or low beam. Those lights should not be coming on that. There's something going on with that. I'll call him and ask him, because I know this is a big outfit and they've got so many different guys on the tractors, and you just know that some monkey is gonna push that down, and not ever, especially in the daytime, and he's not gonna see them lights on because it's daylight and you can't see them. And then they're gonna have dead battery, and then they're gonna go, well, Warren, he was working on it, and ever since he touched it, it's never been right. Why are these remotes in the detent? Why is that? Okay. All right, so we got that figured out. Of course, you can see I got the interior pretty much together yesterday. That was what I was working on, was putting the seat and the seat pan and all that shit back in there. Okay, so I gotta go find a bunch of bolts, get that bolted down, get the DPF hooked up. I gotta kind of sort through some wiring here. Oh golly, I forgot. Let me call the dealer over there. This hose right here, this hose is junk, and I forgot all about that. Let me see if I can call them and see if they got one. Probably not. Oh, we can order that for you. So I'm gonna go in the office and look that up on my computer, give them the part number, and see if they got it. And as with any other 6R tractor, well, I guess you could say any newer John Deere tractor, there is a plethora of heat shielding and garbage to put back on there. So sometimes they can be kind of a jigsaw puzzle, but they only fit one way. And 1,000 little Allen head bolts that go in there. There's a bunch of them. And it's really easy to put the cart before the horse on this thing. I think that's a short one there. That's going to require a longer one because you're going through 2 shields. I'm having a hell of a time here. Where'd my little Allen go? Why is that not wanting to? Something don't seem right. And then I got a little end cap piece here to put on. And we're gonna pour coolant in it and run it for a while. Be one more piece here somewhere. What'd I do with it? Oh, it's right here. That goes up in here like so. Don't know if the camera is picking that up. Over there like so. Okay. The boys that I went over there and got their 61 or 7215R going were pretty happy. So that's a good deal, huh? Okay. Why am I missing? Everything should have been right here in this magnetic parts tray. Missing a couple bolts. 2 of these. Why are those not there? Oh, I know where they're at. They're in another tray. Let me go find them. A little bit kind of a condensation type of smoke coming out of there, but no blow by. Stuff burning off the exhaust manifold. Oh, you know what? That charge air cooler had a bunch of oil in it. I bet that's the smoke I'm seeing. We're probably gonna have to do a forced regen on this thing to burn that out. We gotta be careful here. I'm just thinking about that. Cause I looked down in there was quite a bit of oil in there. I gotta be really careful here. You could have this thing run away with itself. We're just gonna let her kind of idle for a while. That way maybe she don't take off on herself. Why don't they put a damn oil pressure gauge on these things, you know? Why don't they just put an oil pressure gauge? Where is the full drive switch at? Okay, you don't need it full drive. Acknowledge that. Service interval thing. Really good. It's gonna smoke a little bit. It's got to get all that oil in that charge air cooler out of there and burn it. You gotta remember, this thing had a lot of bull bite. The bull bite was so bad it wouldn't even run. So you know that it was going past, you know, it was going into everything. I mean, the exhaust is gonna be full of it. You're gonna have to burn all that shit out of there. Exhaust manifold right there from disassembling it. It's going to burn that stuff off. sound like now idling. That one hose though, we gotta change that. We can't take any chances. This thing's gonna be perfect. Wintertime, they don't need it, so don't get in a hurry, you know, make it right. We're gonna let her get up to operating temperature, and then we'll probably put the hood on it, and then I'll order that hose. I found a piece of hose for that other one. I had some. It's the same size nipple on both the pipe and the nipple coming out of the water pump. So I had some of that, but that one there, it's got a neck one inch bigger than the other, so I don't have that. Well, let's pull this thing out of here. I'll fix that hose tomorrow. I got it on order. Clean up the hole here in the shop. I'll drag that 40/20 in. Oh, it's all or none, huh? It's all or none. I'll use this tractor to pull that 40/20 back in. These guys got, man, this son of a bitch is jumpy. When you let off on that clutch pedal, make sure I don't hit the, it's tight getting in out of this thing. Okay, close that. It's not summertime anymore. Get the oil warmed up or something in this thing. It's, boy, it's jumpy. Might use this tractor to pull that 40/20 into the shop, maybe. So got to get that 70/30 and start dealing with that. He's pretty jumpy. Don't want to run too much before I get that leak fixed. Fire extinguisher, they had it laying back here in the hole. You know they make brackets for those. These were somebody's gloves. They were laying up here on the dash. That's my wire. All right, what's she sound like? No smoke. Okay. Old 40/20. Let's lock this thing up. When I first, this old, not really a shop, it used to be a potato cellar. Sat vacant for a long time, and there were beds and shit in the floor here when I moved in here. these bums had been camping in there, sleeping in there. Yeah, you believe that? This is a really clean old 4020 right here. Really clean. So Jim's thinking, we looked at her quite a bit, but Jim's thinking something happened on this disconnect right here that runs, you know, the toe disconnect is what he thinks happened on it. And that's moving, but huh. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna go clean that spot up, guys, and then I gotta get this tractor here in there. Man, I really like this tractor. This is a clean 4020. Yeah, it's kind of greasy back here, but overall it's a really, really good shape. I took these panels off when I was down in Grenada, but no, this is a really clean old 4020. My grandpa, this is what I grew up on right here. I remember we had a 4-bottom plow, and man, I would run that thing. I would plow at night. I'd run her all night plowing. Open station just like this, no cab, eating dirt all day. But man, I was just a kid and I just loved it. And it was one of them old rollover plows that had the hydraulic motor on it and run off the remotes. And we pulled a little culling packer behind that plow. And the motor was so worn out in that plow that I could get it about 3/4 of the way, but the culling packer was on a chain that ran off the back of the frame on that plow, and I could get it timed just right with my turning brake, and I could roll that plow, and then I could hit it with the turning brake, and then the chain from that culling packer would bring it on over. Because the motor was weak enough, or it must have been the motor, the hydraulics in the tractor were weak enough that it didn't have enough power to roll the plow over. So anyways, I had it figured out as a kid. Anyway, I gotta get my shit together and get this thing in the door. Let's see if I can get this old 4020 to start. This one's got a clutch switch on it. My grandfather's, I don't ever remember that being on. Grandpa's old 4020. She's in park. Charge pressure going to the main pump, and that means we would not have any steering. Well, I don't know if there's something going on with his disconnect. There is a toe disconnect on those. The 4050 in there has one on it too. I like the way they did that toe disconnect on them older John Deeres. You could get the damn tractor out of your way or something, you know. Now, got a little bit of, now I got something. So that tells me, brakes or nothing. PTO's turning. Obviously the PTO brake's not working. Well, let me get my forklift fired up. Get a hold of it, pull her in the shop. Okay guys, let's go ahead and let's pop these. And I pulled these filters when I was down there working on a bunch of equipment for Jim one day. I didn't really see anything here, but let's look at it again. Doesn't look too bad. The oil coming out of there. Rock in there. If you see any kind of evidence of the suction screen is on the other side on these tractors. These tractors are what made John Deere what they are today. No doubt about that. I don't really see like clutch material or anything like that. It was obvious on the 4050 over there. There is something going on here. Definitely. There's some darker, glittery looking stuff going on in there. And that filter is black in the paper element there. Pull off this other one too and look at it. Forgot this one. That one has a hose on it. I forgot about that. Okay, so we got the oil dumped on it. About 20 gallons in there. Bucket's getting pretty close to the top. I'm wondering if I ought to. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Hang on a second. I'm gonna overfill that bucket. Haul that home, put her in a waste oil heater. Can't have a waste oil heater in California. They're illegal in California. Everything's illegal in California. Living and breathing is illegal in California. Not allowed to breathe. Because when you exhale, you're emitting carbon dioxide. And all the dumbasses have been led to believe that an essential an absolute essential ingredient for life, which would be carbon dioxide, is now supposedly bad for you, according to all the dumb shits. I mean, hell, when I was a kid, we learned that CO2 was a major necessity for life because it promotes photosynthesis. That's how plants create oxygen, so you can breathe. No, that's bad for you now, that carbon dioxide. It's unbelievable, the shit you hear anymore. What's even more believable, the education system is totally, because these commies, they're in the education system too. These Bolsheviks are. And I would elaborate further as to who the Bolsheviks are, but then I'll get in big trouble too. I will be canceled. Can't be having any of that truth being spoken. Can't have none of that shit. Okay, I got loose, I thought. Got the hole down loose there. It's just be stuck on there, huh? Suction pipe, of course. Once you pull that off, oil goes everywhere there too. It's a typical power shift job. There's oil everywhere. There's no way around it. Man, I thought that suction screen was right in there. I really did. We'll get that son of a bitch out of there. See, I thought it was right in there. I was wrong. There's one in there, but you got to get to it from the other side. So I was wrong about that. I could have swore that was the way you got these out on these. And it appears that it's plugged too with shit. Oh yeah, shit. The damn thing's buried in grease and I didn't see it. The plug's right here. I screwed that up. I thought they came out on that side on these 4020s. There's a 1/2 inch plug right there. Just looking at that, it doesn't really look like clutch material or anything. It's kind of like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a guy might be able to just clean that up, put oil in it, and go again. I wonder if we should just get a new screen, or let me go clean this out. It doesn't really look like clutch material, but it is plug solid. There's no way that thing was getting any oil through there. Just kind of like slimy, gunky type shit. Don't know what to make of that. Just years of use. Well, there's what it's supposed to look like. You can actually see my finger through it. Cleaned up really nice. I don't really see clutch material or nothing. Just kind of slimy, like water, I don't know, sludgy type shit. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like emulsified oil, you know, that gets water in it. I think we're just gonna, I'm gonna get 2 new filters from John Deere. I'm gonna get 20 gallons of oil and go back together with this thing, and then see what happens. I don't really see too big of a problem. I mean, if I would have seen a bunch of brown stuff in there, stuff like that, I would have been really, really worried, but I didn't really see anything like that. Let's look in a hole here and see what we see. No, I don't really feel that bad about this one, to be honest with you. It's worth a try. It's not really that filthy in there, even not anything in comparison to that 4050 over there. So that's good. That's a good thing. Maybe we'll just we'll get a couple filters for it and put her back together. I got to get a gasket for this. I got to get a gasket for this. This suction tube for the transmission pump. And then there's going to be an O-ring right up in there, so I'll get a new gasket where it mounts right there. I think it's got a gasket, or is that an O-ring? No, it's a gasket. So I'll have to get a new gasket for that. And shit, I think this thing, I really have high hopes that it'll probably just take right off and be fine. I know that 4020 that my grandpa had, well, he still got it. He still uses it all the time. And I think the engine was gone through once, and maybe the transmission one time. That thing's probably got 20,000 hours on it. Maybe even more. But the transmission, we never, hardly ever. I think he had something, can't remember what the hell the deal was. He lost a charge pump or something on it, and he just had him rebuild the transmission while he was there. But I don't think it really, they tore it apart and everything looked in good shape, and they just put new frictions and seals in the pistons and put it back together. But the engine, after about, I think it had about 13,000 hours, and the engine finally started getting blow by on it pretty bad, and they rebuilt the engine, put it back in there, and it's probably got another 10 or 12,000 hours on it. So anyway, I'm gonna call Deere right now and get the filters for it, and the gasket for that suction tube, and go from there.